welcome back to my channel. Share how the best thing that I've ever done for my health was leaving the United States. As an American that has been living abroad for the last 10 years and have experienced some of the best healthcare in different countries, from Israel to Singapore to Thailand to Kazakhstan to Turkey, I want to talk about the quality healthcare I've received since I lived in Serbia over the last 2.5 years. That conversation and give people an alternative when it comes to receiving care, whether it's dental care, eye care, physical care, emotional care, that there are other countries that you can live in and be happy. Let's get into it. The US healthcare system is broken, and many Americans are raised to believe that universal healthcare is just impossible. It's too expensive, it's socialist, and the best thing you can do is just pay insurance companies, pay your premiums, and just wish for the best. When you do get sick, it can be a cold or it can be life-changing illness, that you'll get the care as long as you can afford it. And that's just not the case. As a Black woman, I know, oh my gosh, race, many women or Black women suffer when they're giving birth. If not, it's fatal, because doctors don't listen to women, especially Black women. Doctors kind of downplay symptoms. And unfortunately, there is medical racism. And what do I mean by that? From what I read online and from other research, if you are poor, if you don't ask the right questions, if you're not getting prenatal care, and I guess it goes far back into medical school, if not beyond, there's a whole history of racism. Your mother in the US, it's really fatal to give birth. It is very fatal post-birth, and it doesn't matter how wealthy you are, how educated you are, how well connected you are, it can be really fatal. So luckily, all the women in my family that have given birth haven't had many major complications. Even friends, I'm in my 30s, that have given birth, it can be really scary with the stories that they told me. And I know that I just don't want that for myself. But many Black women are taking their money and going to, I guess, birth tourism has become a thing, to Turkey or to Mexico or to other countries where they can get the proper care they need. But for a population with over 300 million people, that's just not the case for most people. Dental care and medical care are two separate things. You're paying into two different types of health insurances. It's just really complicated. Basically, I have made it one of my life points to always brush, floss, fluoride, see the dentist 2 times a year. And paying into insurance in the US, it depends on if your insurance covers a certain dental practice. And luckily, while my teeth are not perfectly straight or Hollywood white, I am healthy. I have healthy teeth. And I didn't know my smile is beautiful until I left the US. And I only had one incident when I was in university. I spent 5 days in the hospital, and they didn't know exactly what was wrong with me. I had to see different specialists, and the bill at the end, I asked specifically for a hard copy of the records. It came up to $20,000. And after insurance, I owed about $1,200, which for some non-Americans is just oh my gosh. But I was able to pay that off before I left the US. I have no medical debt. So I'm really, really happy. But that's just not the case for many Americans today that have woken up that they're paying into a system that does not cover. Even if you have insurance, doesn't mean that your insurance is going to cover you. So discovering universal healthcare abroad. So I went to grad school in Israel in 2014 to 2015, and it was a whole eye-opening experience because I had student healthcare through my grad school, and that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I've been lied to. Universal healthcare works in a country, in an economy. If the whole population is healthy, it's actually good because people are productive. People are not afraid to not only just get sick, but if they get sick, it's not going to lead to crushing medical debt. It's not going to lead to someone having to stay home and to provide long-term care. And I'll never forget when I was sick on a Friday night, so it's Shabbat, and I called a clinic, and they're like, yeah, we can have doctors come to you. And I was just like, okay, so this is what rich people probably get, to have doctors come to my dorm, look into me, write me a prescription, and I had my boyfriend at the time then go to the pharmacy. Mind blowing. That was just not something I was used to. And ever since, I guess, over the last 10 years, when I went to teach English in Thailand, and I had just really basic insurance, but my school was like right next to one of the best hospitals. I went there to get my checkups, to get the physical. Thailand is actually huge, or at least Bangkok has some of the best hospitals in the world. And the doctors speak English, they're very nice, they listen to you. So I got really, really great care when I lived in Bangkok. Not only just physical care, dental care, gynecological care, eye care. It was just really amazing to see, like, wow, I don't have to break the bank. I don't have to be rich. I can just have a little bit of money to get my teeth cleaned, to see a doctor. I don't have to ugly waiting room. People are kind. I mean, as a woman, a lot of people, doctors in the US, don't listen to women. And I have a deep sympathy for many American women because they're overworked, stressed, and fat or obese, which I believe it's not someone's fault if they're fat and obese. It's more due to lifestyle, lack of quality food, and the American lifestyle, just so much sitting and driving and not being active. So in Thailand, it was just very transformative to see not only just locals and expats, but people coming to Bangkok and going to some of the best hospitals in the world to get surgeries, to get, I believe they're known for transgender surgery, plastic surgery, and it was just amazing. In Kazakhstan and Turkey, Kazakhstan was just an exceptional case. But again, as a former Soviet country, I was able to go to the doctors who spoke English. I went to a gynecologist who was really nice and spoke English, and I went to the dentist. My dentists were really, really nice. And when they were talking about, I guess during Soviet times, many women were educated, had careers, and it was not like, it was attainable for people to go to med school, to become a doctor. And just like Serbia, where you had a lot of African students or South Asian or South American students come to study, that was the same case in Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan has really great private healthcare. As far as my experience in Turkey, wow, it was amazing because everyone knows Turkey is well known for laser eye surgery and for hair transplants. It was really funny seeing a lot of men walking around with like their bandages, which is like a status symbol apparently, because it's like, ooh, look at me. I can afford to like take care of my looks. So in fact, I have a friend, she started her own medical tourism business in Turkey, and it's very, very successful. It's more so like plastic surgery, but still, Turkey's an amazing place. And again, seeing the gynecologist, going to the dentist, seeing the doctors, very, very affordable. Okay, private healthcare in Serbia. So I didn't know what to expect. Belgrade is my favorite place to receive quality healthcare. Now, I know, like most countries outside the US, Serbia does have universal healthcare. They do have public hospitals. I'm focused on, well, my experience, and for this video, I want to talk about private clinics and private hospitals because that's what I go to. I know many of my Serbian friends and people on my TikTok have told me that public healthcare is not, I guess, the best, and not average everyday people can afford private healthcare. But when I go to, for example, Tesla Medical, which is not too far from me, there are Serbians there. So for expats who come here and who live here, most of them I know go to private healthcare. And that's what I'll be focusing on. So for private healthcare, the first procedure or the first doctors I saw was dentists, because I'm really obsessed with my oral health. Expats do. They go on Facebook groups and ask, where can I find a dentist or a doctor or a gynecologist? And also searching on Instagram for a dentist, I found a great dental clinic. And I got my teeth cleaned. I made a video about it. And it was just great because beautiful building, all the staff highly educated, the office is beautiful. And since I take really great care of my teeth, it took like 20 minutes for getting a cleaning. And I do have a plan to get my teeth straightened. Like, the time is now. I will get my teeth straightened. Going to the eye doctor, really great. Going to get to the physician, I got some blood work done. In fact, I finally learned what my blood type is, because in the US, they don't tell patients. Insurance companies withhold that information unless you ask, and then you have to pay for that. So 2 weeks ago, I finally know what my blood type is. But I got a whole entire physical done early this summer, got some blood work done. It cost me about 200 euros. My teeth to clean is 40 euros. For my gynecological care, and I've shared experiences with that on my TikTok, I've been to the best gynecologist in Serbia, and he's super nice. It was a referral from a friend. So again, beautiful clinic, great doctors, everyone is highly educated. And I feel like that's the difference. In the US, going to a hospital or to a clinic is just ugly. Everyone, the waiting rooms are full, loud, dirty, doctors look stressed. And you don't even really see the doctors. You see a nurse or a nurse's aide, and it's just like so terrible. You're paying all this money to be sitting in some stuffy place and talk to the doctor for 2 minutes, versus here in other places, it's a nice experience, you know? So Serbia, or at least, so Belgrade is just great, not only if you're sick, but if you need care as a foreigner, you can definitely find the best at affordable price. And it will be a great experience because doctors are there to listen to you. They speak English. The staff speak English. They have really high-end equipment. That's another thing I missed out. The equipment of the future, when I went to my gynecologist, like the equipment and machinery he had, I've never seen that before. Not anywhere, not even in Singapore. And I've been to the gynecologist in Singapore, and I was just like, wow, this is like world-class equipment. And when it comes to lab work, I get it within the same day or the next day. In the US, it can take weeks. So it's just really great care in Serbia. Why leaving the US saved my health? Well, the American lifestyle is very stressful. I gave up having a car 10 years ago. So when I briefly live there or visit there, I walk everywhere. And again, I have a lot of empathy and sympathy for those that are obese or overweight, because there is something wrong with the food in the US. I was living there, I remember when I went in 2021, and I worked out 7 days a week, twice a day, walked everywhere, ate organic foods, cooked all my meals, and I was still gaining weight. Now for me, I'm like a US size 2. And I was gaining weight. I was like 137 pounds, and that was the heaviest I've ever been in my life. Now I'm back to like 127. And it took some time to realize that it doesn't matter how healthy you eat or if you walk, there is something fundamentally wrong. And my gut was just not liking it. And when I first came to Belgrade, I was just like, everyone's so tall, everyone's so slim, everyone's so good looking. And I realized why, because the lifestyle here, even for everyday people, it's not so, everyone has stress. But the lifestyle here, where it's more of a collective, where people eat healthy foods and cook healthy foods, you don't have all those unhealthy ingredients and GMOs that are banned in Europe. People walk a lot. Well, yes, many people drive, but still, it's not like commuting 2 or 3 hours each way to work. And people are happier and good looking because you don't have the stress there's just a lot. American stress is very different than the stress here, in my opinion. And I guess, having the safety net, at least a basic safety net of universal health care, is a bonus as well. People don't have crushing medical debt. Serbs, correct me if I'm wrong. And I guess I did grow up somewhat in poverty. That's one thing why I'm fascinated by people, because when you're in poverty, you're stressed, you have food insecurity, you have housing insecurity. It's easy, just all that stress can affect your looks. And looks do matter. That's another thing. I was lied to growing up, it's just what counts on the inside. No, I don't leave my house looking like a mess anymore. I've definitely stepped up my appearance and how I dress. But here, it's just really fascinating to see Serbia is not a relatively wealthy country, but people do take care of their looks. They take care of their health. There are great world-class, I would say, hospitals and clinics. And that's why I guess everyone looks good and slim and healthy. I don't see many overweight people here. It's an exception. But in the US, I mean, for me, being slim is like a status symbol because many people cannot afford to be healthy. I'm 34 years old, and a lot of the people I grew up with, unfortunately, are overweight, whether they had kids or not. It's the lifestyle. So living here, being happy, I have my stresses, but not the type of stress I have in the States. I walk everywhere. There's good food, healthy food. I'm along Belgrade waterfront. I can be healthy. In the US, this life is not the life that I'm living. If I were to live like that in the US, would be very much out of reach. Very much. If you've been an expat abroad, what has been your experience receiving health care? Do you have private insurance? Are you in with your residency? Do you have the universal health insurance? And for Serbs, what has been your experience if you go to the private clinics or the private hospitals? And also tell me, what are the public hospitals like? I don't want to... Yeah, what are the public hospitals like? Provide concierge service for investors and entrepreneurs who want to build a business here, buy property here, invest, living their best life in Serbia. So check out my website. Comment below to share your experience, and I look forward to reading your comments. I do my best to read and reply to almost all the comments because I'm still growing my channel, and I want to be able to engage with all of you. Health is wealth, and I believe living in a country, in a city where you can live your best life, that's really the richest way to live, to be healthy. And living in the US, that is just not for me. Thank you for watching. Bye!